It seems I've been hearing this a little bit more and more. Every time a Golf model is shown, I hear a little bit of, ugh, overplayed. I'm so tired of this. No more Golf. And I don't know if that's just a small number of collectors or if that's kind of the consensus. So I wanted to ask the question today. I have the Datsun 510, the RLC that needs to be featured. I haven't featured it yet. I've had it. I know a lot of you are getting it. I know it's kind of rolling out slowly, all the 510s. Some have it, some don't. Some, I don't know, they're saying July. I don't know how long it'll take for them to roll out all these 510s that people ordered on the Redline Club at Mattel Creations. But ultimately, I have mine. I wanted to showcase it, and I brought out some of the Golf models that I have, and I'll explain what I've got, and we'll go through some of it, and then we'll show off the 510. But I just wanted to ask that question because I've seen it more and more. This comment of like, oh, it's so overplayed. I'm so sick of it. And obviously, we see Golf in other brands as well. But it does seem also that, they still, people say that about the 510 wagon. It seems like it gets gobbled up all the time, or the Chevy Silverado, and it gets gobbled up all the time. So I'm not entirely sure. Some of you don't care, some of you do, some of you don't. But I want you to leave comments down below and tell me what your opinion on Golf is. I don't think it's going anywhere. We keep seeing them. But I have some evidence that suggests maybe people are tired of it, and I have some evidence that suggests that they're not. So all right, let's just go for it. All right, I'm going to start with the 510. We might as well just add it to the pile of cars. And so this is, well, it came in this box, right? And that's the outside box. But this one, I always like to have a loose RLC car in my collection. So this one I'm actually going to take out of the container. But let's start with that. So it has this outer shell. For those of you who don't have it, like I said, this is sold out. Sold out a while ago. Sold out the day it was put up. Obviously, that wasn't a surprise. I mean, it's a Datsun 510, so of course it's going to sell out. But all RLC do anyway. And here is the model itself in an acrylic case. This is the opening hood version. So I'm going to show it to you in the acrylic case, and then we'll take that off. What I'm going to do, I'll show you the bottom. No number. That's somewhat controversial that there's no number on this. I think because it was said in the lead up, in the article leading up to it, that there were 35,000, and then they took it away, and some collectors have been unhappy about that. I get that. They said it and then they didn't, and I honestly, I don't know what happened there, but it could very well be that someone just copied and pasted from a previous one and then forgot to delete that part. It could be that simple. Nonetheless, it's not, proofread a little bit more. All right, let's go ahead and get this out of the container. Done. I even removed the rubber band. They use these rubber bands to keep the hood open. I prefer they don't. I mean, maybe there's fear that in transit the rubber band or the hood could fly off or something, but I'm always afraid of little damage on the paint. I've seen that before, but it seems to be everything is okay on this one. Let's open up the hood so you can take a look at that. That is also done essentially in Golf colors. That looks really, really nice. And let's put it on the turntable and have ourselves a look. We're going to just start with it. I could have gone history prior to, but I'm not going to. Let's just get this Datsun looked at, and then let's add it to the pile of Golf cars that we have. And we'll talk through Golf a little bit and call it a day. But yeah, this one is really, really nice. The Golf livery is very simple, done in that kind of like not necessarily chrome, but more metal looking rim, which they've done a better job of late. Everything else looks great. I think the racing stripe looks awesome on the top. I love the white roof. Everything else, I mean, this is just a great version of the Datsun, and fits very nicely with this family of Golf cars. I'm going to put it off to the side, and there's several ways we can go with Golf. I do not have all of the Hot Wheels Golf models. There are quite a few in the basic range that they've done the last 10 years or so, and some of these castings I don't collect, and I just never really got to collecting all of them. I do collect all of the Moon Eyes cars and all the Zamex and things, but I haven't done that with Golf. But I may have all of the premium when it comes to car culture. It's been in car culture. It's been in that anniversary set. Well, I can just put this on the shot and you can walk through it as I pan through the car culture models, a few others. We've seen Team Transport, the Lancia. There's also been a fair amount of super treasure hunts. And this is where, okay, the evidence that Golf is not going anywhere, that people are still excited about it. This was the first Golf Super Treasure Hunt. It's that Indy Oval car. I don't think people were. I mean, that's just a casting thing. Golf is cool, but I don't think people are totally into that casting. Now, This thing, the Ford GT40, was voted best super of the year it came out. It was a couple years ago, right? It won the little Lamley Awards tournament that we, not even tournament, the vote that we did, and it was not even close. This thing was by far the most popular super treasure hunt. I mean, it's Ford GT40 in Gulf livery, and you might say, well, that's just the perfect storm. It's the perfect car with the perfect livery, and it's a super treasure hunt, and it makes a lot of sense. Of course, it was going to be popular, but then the next year, it happens again. Porsche. This is the 356 Outlaw. It also gets the Gulf treatment, gets the Super Treasure Hunt treatment, and guess what? It also wins. It beats the 510. It beats some of the other stalwarts from the year as the best Super Treasure Hunt, and I think the Gulf livery had a lot to do with it. That's my evidence that it is very, very popular. Still, my evidence that it's maybe dying a little bit or is going all the way back to this set. When Hot Wheels appeared, wanted to capitalize and figured collectors would love to see a full 5-car Gulf set, and this thing hung like crazy. I have seen a few peg warming car culture sets. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's pretty obvious. Like that pickup truck set that came out a few years ago, or came out just a few months ago, towards the end of last year. That's been a peg warmer quite a bit. There's been maybe a couple others, but this Gulf one, this car right here, the VW, wasn't, because they only put one in per case back when they did that. Anyway, that set didn't do too well. In fact, I didn't even put the McLaren in the set because I just wanted to use these light blue. But then we've seen, this was in a set that didn't sell very well. That was in the Diorama set that I thought would sell better. This seems to have gone very well. This one, you could put a clown on it and it would sell well because it's the Silverado. But yeah, it's on in some things there's evidence that it's kind of petering out, and other evidence that no, it's going to remain super popular. And then of course there's the RLCs. I'm going to show you the RLCs, and we'll just walk through them real quick. There are two kinds that they're doing. They did this special set of Spectre Flame Rlc, which kind of predate the Super Treasure Hunts, where they take that light blue and they gave it the Spectre Flame treatment, at least the blue. And this set is so unique. We'll walk through that. And then they've done this other three, which this Datsun becomes a part of, that they've gone over. I mean, this one goes from way back, but premium, but not in Spectre Flame. And this has been something that has caused some mixed reactions as well. It started with the Porsche 993, which is a beautiful model. Just like the Datsun, it just has a very, very clean, Gulf livery on it that looks very realistic. And, to be honest, when you're talking Gulf, these are the colors you expect. The Spectre Flame doesn't necessarily look like a Gulf, right? It's just kind of a special edition. So this Porsche 993 makes a ton of sense to be in that Gulf livery. And then they just went and just did something really kind of fun with the Ford Raptor just a couple of years ago as well. And this one looks really cool. Again, if it's RLC and there's an expectation to put it in Spectre Flame paint, maybe some people don't like it and some people didn't, but it is still on its own, I think, a very, very good, very clean looking casting. And then of course the Datsun, which we've already seen. So we put those together right here, but let's walk through the Spectre Flame. This is a special set. It costs a fortune now. I don't know if I have these in order, but they were released separately, but all within I would say within about maybe an 8-month to a year's time. I might have that wrong, but we start with the Porsche. This casting hadn't been released for a while. This is the 917, done in Spectre Flame with the 5 spokes, which looks amazing, in black with the Firestone rims. This thing was really, really nice. And again, Gulf livery. What else are you going to say about it? GT40, not to be confused with the Super Treasure Hunt, but very, very similar livery. A little more complete if you see how the orange wraps around the front. And then, of course, the Firestone tires and the number 6, everything else. This one is very nice and actually goes quite well with the Super Treasure Hunt, but the Spectre Flame is on a different level. Drag bus. It's the drag bus. I remember I ended up with a few of these and sold them all for about $100 way back when. And that's not what they're going for now. They're going for quite a bit. I'm not a huge fan of the drag bus. I've mentioned that before. But this Gulf version I think is fantastic and kind of makes sense. The one I think that is the most expensive might be the Porsche. I don't think, but I think it's the 67 Camaro. And this one is, there's a couple things about this one. Number one is it's incredible with the chrome mag rims, with the horseshoes, obviously the Golf livery. But there's another thing about this. As good looking as this one also had some issues with paint chips in the front. Mine has like a minor one, but nothing to get too crazy about. But for some reason, the paint didn't wrap very well on this. And a lot of them arrived with paint chips on the front, kind of around the grill. And it's just something that you have to kind of look for on these when you buy them, is that, and sometimes you just can't avoid it. Then there's this crazy drag Beetle, which we haven't seen very often as well, but very, very cool. It actually opens up. Might as well do that. Try and show that one off with that mirrored blue Spectre Flame. And then the last one, and I don't even know, I haven't had, this one came in a large package, more of the car culture size. This is, what is this thing called? Rocket Oil. I had to like read it. This thing's so out of control. And it does have this opening piece that you open up the whole thing and you can kind of see inside. Look at that thing. And then it even has the gas and everything else. This was a fuel van, right? Back in the day. Is that what it's based on? Like a moving fuel van, kind of like a fuel plane. Anyway, I haven't seen this casting used in a long, long time, but it was the 6th of this set. And I have no idea what they're going for, but what that Rocket Oil is going for, but it's kind of a cool set as well. So there you are. Golf is worth collecting. I myself, I'd like to see them. I mean, I don't have a real passion for them, but obviously it's a realistic livery. It's a realistic racing livery. And it's kind of one of those things like, ooh, Golf is hitting this casting or that casting. Now that we have a 510 with it, I think it's pretty cool. You guys tell me what you think. Sick or not? I want to know. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Bye.